Good evening, everyone, or good morning, whenever you are listening to this. I hope you are having a good time. We're going to be going over what happened with the SPY today, what happened with Apple's earnings, and also the data sets tomorrow, and what I'm expecting out of the SPY tomorrow. Tonight's video is going to be somewhat shorter just because I'm still feeling pretty bad right now. Um, but with that said, let's go ahead and talk about Apple's earnings. Now, Apple's earnings were a beat. I don't have the exact EPS or anything in front of me. If you want to look that up, there's plenty of websites that provide that information for free. But the thing that I'm focusing on about their earnings is that they had lower iPhone sales and lesser sales in China, but they were able to have much higher service-based sales, and current customers were having a lot of upgrades with their devices. So upgrading to the new iPhone models, new tablet models, whatever, they're providing. So Apple's looking good. That's why we're seeing it have a pretty successful earnings, even though originally it was down like 2%, I believe, at one point. Now, let's go over kind of what happened with the SPY today, and then we will go into the data sets for tomorrow and what I expect out of tomorrow. So this is the 5 minute chart, and moving into the beginning of today. So I still don't know how to draw on this program yet. I apologize. I have to figure that out this weekend. So just kind of follow my cursor, if you will. We started the pre-market, and we are starting to dip and starting to climb a little bit, but we started to form this head and shoulders here on the 5 minute chart. As you can see, the right shoulder, or the left shoulder, I mean, the head, and then the right shoulder. And that brought us down all the way to that 672. And at that point, we started seeing quite a lot of buying. I mean, most of you that were watching that live, we pretty much ran right up to the 604 area within like what, a half an hour's time, give or take. But that completed a cup, and then we saw that pull down. So now we have a bullish cup formed, and then we have the handle. So it pulled down from the handle. This led to the secondary breakout, and that was kind of just all she wrote for the rest of the day. Now we did have that massive dump towards the end of the day, and I was able to catch it. If you guys followed my Webull or were in the Discord, you were probably one of the recipients of that play. But we saw this larger cup form, and I know this chart's not showing it very well, but we actually had the top of the cup right here, pull down. Here's the very bottom, and then there's the top of the cup. It overshot a little bit. I originally believe I said the top cup, or the top of the cup was around what? It was 605, 98, something like that. We saw that level hit, and then we saw it run up to 606.60. I was originally expecting around 606.40 to be that point where they're going to start rejecting it. So we cut our calls at that point. We took puts, and we basically nailed the top. If you had puts there, you had a nice play there. We made some good money on that one. And how did we know to buy the bottom here? We knew that this was a bullish cup. There was breakouts happening in a bullish direction, and this is a larger portion of a cup handle as well, which I'll show you later. But there's a lot of bullish structure forming, and that gave us the conviction to say, okay, this is a buy zone, this is a buy zone. We could take calls up there. This was a great area for us to cut our calls and for us to take puts. We took the puts, cut the puts at the bottom. We knew that was the bottom because the selling was just tapering pretty quickly. I mean, as you could see, this is only three or four candles length, so it didn't last very long. And now we're, back at that 607 area, which that was a target I originally had today, or moving into today, that could happen, is us hitting that 607 area. Now let's move out to the hourly chart just to see kind of what we're looking at. Actually, before we go into this, I want to go into the news for tomorrow because Yeah, we're gonna set up for tomorrow. So going over the news, um, we have the PCE data coming out. I'm not expecting anything crazy with the PCE. I'm actually expecting it to come in cooler. And the reason why we can expect a cooler PCE is Powell gave us a hint that that would happen. He said that companies for a very long time now have been continuously raising prices, raising prices, raising prices, and now the customers were willing to pay that, and now they're hitting a point where they can't keep raising prices because customers are just not interested in paying those increased prices. So the customers aren't tapped, but they're just not willing to continuously buying and buy into the inflation. And if we do see the PCE come in cooler, which again I'm expecting that to happen, it should be bullish for equities. Um, and that means it's bullish for the stock market. Whenever I say equities, that's going to be stocks. So that'd be bullish for stocks, that'd be bearish for yields, bullish for TLT. Um, but if we somehow get the PCE coming in hotter, then we'd very likely see equities fall just a little bit. We'd see the yields increase and TLT drop because of that. So other than the PC, I'm really not too concerned about any of the data sets tomorrow. Um, there's always these CFTC speculative positions. I don't really track those. They're not super important. So not something I look forward to there. Anyway, let's go back into the 1 hour chart here because I want to show you kind of the structure I was talking about last night, where we had this inverse cup, and this was 100% definitely an inverse cup. This is a bear structure. We can't, deny that one. But the Bears lost. And the reason why we know the Bears lost is because this right here needed to be the top of a cup. So I mentioned in last night's video is that if the Bears wanted to see this go down, we would want to see this being a head and shoulders. So this would be the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. Well, the right shoulder is breaking out, so that invalidates this structure, and that's heading directly to fill the top of the cup at the 610.78 area. And that fits exactly what we were talking about yesterday, where if this breaks out, then we need to look for a bullish structure to form there to take us to the top of the cup. And that's exactly what happened on the day. So let's go over the daily Moz really quick and where the Bollinger is sitting. Just one moment, need to cough. Apologize about that. Anyway, so the upper Bollinger right now is at 613.86. With where the market closed today and where it is right now, it's very likely going to open around 614.70, and that's for the upper Bollinger. It's going to continuously move it up as we continue to move up, which is good. That's something that's a bullish signal we want. Because what happens after the 5 mile is tested, which that happened yesterday, is that we either head down to the 20 mile or we head up to the upper Bollinger. Well, it's looking very likely that we're going to be heading up to that upper Bollinger. We have the top of the cup at the 610.78 area. Uh, if they go ahead and take that top of the cup, and let's look at that cup on the hourly time frame. If they take the top of the cup there, it's very likely they're going to overshoot it to the point where they're going to catch that upper Bollinger. Uh, and when they do overshoot and catch that upper Bollinger, we usually expect the second day of the upper Bollinger move to be a higher high. So it's very likely we could see this 613 to 615 area, even 616 possibly taken at this point. And I know that seems fairly drastic, but we've been seeing the algorithm buying and selling very large. And you could see within each trading session, it's massive selling, massive buying, massive selling, massive buying, massive selling, massive buying, massive selling, massive buying. You know, it rinse repeat. It's huge swings, and we've been seeing 1 to 2% days almost every day for the last month and a half, give or take. So the moves are very drastic right now. We should be expecting this cup to hit, and wherever they decide to make the top of the cup, we'll know because they'll start forming a bearish structure. So a head and shoulders, a inverse cup, something to suggest that, okay, this is the top of the cup. We're now going to pull down for a handle. And that should be the expectation here, is that we will finish this out, pull up, start forming a handle down, consolidate, and retest the 5 mall. Um, I really don't see a good bearish thesis right now unless we just absolutely flub the PCE data in the morning and sell off at that point or something. Then we can start looking again towards the 20 MA, which let's just pull up the MAs for a second. You know, the 20 MA is at the 595 right now, which isn't out of the question either. If we're expecting a potentially uh, $8 to $11 move upward, we can definitely expect something pretty drastic on the downside too. So, so with that said, just be careful with what the market's giving us tomorrow. Watch out for either, you know, bearish continuation or bullish continuation. We're going to see some structures building here, and the PCE data will pretty much tell the tale of the day. If we have a cooler PCE, then very likely we're going to see the market buy up all the way to that cup top and, you know, uh, overshoot it just a little bit. But if we don't see the PCE come in good, then we're very likely going to start looking down towards, failing the 5 MA and heading down to that 20 MA level on the daily. So with that said, just trade safe tomorrow, and I will talk to you all later. Have a good night.